I'm Brent Leary.
Wow. Well, you know what? In the style of imitation, I'm Paul Greenberg.
I mean, when you've done it for as long as we have, you got to throw a little something in just to amuse, each other, or
Yeah,
something
since
like
we're
that.
the only ones watching.
Basically. But yeah, we are the CRM players. It's Thursday. Who else would we be? Don't answer that. Maybe.
No, please. Last thing we want to hear is what you think who else we might be. Ooh,
We are having trouble posting to LinkedIn.
yeah, I
Oh,
see.
that's
Oh,
not good.
I see. The moment, the
Well,
moment.
maybe that trouble is over with because
There it is.
Sven is here with the moment is Sven.
That's got to be German.
I mean, come on, man. We these are supposed to be simple phrases. This is a paragraph again.
Well, let's say it's a good afternoon, my
Guten
dear
Tag.
friends.
Okay.
Uh, my
Uh
friend, my dear friend Paul. I don't know what that means.
Wildebeest.
Something about happy hour, not happy, something or another.
He was a
Timo
guest.
and he was, yeah, he was a guest. He was a guest at the lack of a happy hour yesterday.
Oh, all right. So what? So that is that like German then?
German, straight out. Can't. The only possible other one is Austrian, and I'm pretty sure it's German.
Wait a minute. So happy hour in German is happy hour.
Well, according to the way he puts it.
Sometimes it needs to be simple.
Yeah, he's right. So
German. Okay.
German
Well,
it
I
is.
got it too. Then I
Yeah,
I said
it's
it. So
German.
we're off to a rousing start. Okay. Here's
Here
the
it is.
full translation. Good evening, dear friends. Hope you prefer Paul is better again. Okay.
After
After
all, we
we
didn't.
after we didn't have a happy hour yesterday, I'm looking forward to today's theme and the guest. It's not really a guest. Let's just
Yeah,
dispel that right away.
he's one
It's
of
not.
the crew.
Yeah, this isn't like somebody you've never seen before or heard like the other
Right.
day. But it will be fun. And I do have the disclaimer at the ready for
Okay.
moving on. But anyway, we are the CRM players, and of course, you know what? I should have stayed out in Arizona so I could do the show from Arizona so I could literally say bringing the ass
Bringing the ass from the ass.
because I could have done that. But yeah, we even though I'm not in Arizona, we have been bringing the ass since our dear friend Austin told us, who really we've only met once, but he's still a dear friend.
Yes, he is. Just for this alone, he's immortal.
He's right. We've been
He's
bringing the ass since 2009, and you know what? 2024 is right around the corner. And you know what that means?
yeah, it's 2024.
And it's right around the corner.
That's what it means.
But what that also means is
Oh,
come January of 2024, 15 years doing the players.
holy cow!
I thought you were going to go with another word, but
Yeah, I was, but
what's
keeping it PG. That was the word I was going to go with.
exactly. I don't think that's what Sven was talking about, but hey, it
No,
worked. 15, wow, almost 15 years. Who would have thought?
but here we are from audio, and we still have the now extremely valuable because they are rare. The unpublished tapes.
Do we have them?
No,
I
no,
think we had them, but
we did.
it
They
would be
all,
nice if we
I
did.
mean, who knows? I may have them somewhere in my files if it wasn't destroyed by ransomware that time.
That's true. But since I did say I was in Arizona for I think the last analyst event for me, which was the Variant Analyst Days. And I'm telling you right now, I'm putting all the other vendors on notice. You need to do your analyst event where Variant did theirs. What's it called? Sanctuary Camelback,
Yeah,
something or other. Oh, look, I don't really, go crazy about how great the rooms are. If the room, as long as I got a decent bed and it's not too loud, I'm cool. I'm happy. This was way beyond happy what they had us in. it was a resort and spa. So and we've been to some resort and spas that weren't like resorts and spas. Let's put it like that.
No,
And you know which one I'm talking
I know
about.
exactly what you would.
We will not divulge that, but this one, oh my gosh, this was awesome. I mean, the scenery, the room, the patio with the extended length. I found myself getting up in the morning looking out at mountains because we can't get mountains. We don't have mountains because I don't include Stone Mountain as a mountain. So I was really just kind of in awe of the mountains and the trees and the birds flying around making the weird noises. I mean, it was really cool. And it was November in Arizona, which is really the good time to go.
What was
And
what was the temperature?
it was 86, and you could still wear like a long sleeve shirt and feel very comfortable because it's like dry heat. It was a really good couple of days there. And
Well, no, Yvonne
people,
heard of it. She actually heard of that place, and she's not in our universe at all. But she's heard of that place is so
oh, it's
so big a deal that she's actually heard of it for beyond anything that other vendors may do
so it's
there.
a well-known kind of place.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't question why, because it was great. And the food was great. I mean, it was just great. And the event itself was really good. And there was several of our buddies that we see along the way. Of course, Rebecca was there, and I got my daily Patrick pictures to see how Patrick was doing. That last day, you could tell Patrick was ready for her to come back home. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Liz, of course, Liz Miller, and Liz actually did whispered insights right from out there with all the scenery in the background. It was really nice, and there was just a lot of them. And of course, one of the hosts, of course, was our long time buddy Ryan the Zucker.
Yeah.
And they really know how to do that kind of event. It was great. And it was and also the actual content. Now there was some discussion. There's because it's a mix between contact center analysts that come from that kind of background, and also like CX folks. And there, the first day, lots of information, but there was some consternation amongst some of the analysts about feeling like they weren't getting like the full picture from the contact center to the CX side stuff. And I thought it was really good, because I'm just looking at it from the CX side. And but by day 2, I think everybody's on the same page, because they're doing something. I called it the Uberization of like the call center kind of, or workforce management kind of thing, where they have this technology, and of course it's coming through their bots. I forget the actual name of the bot, but no, there's a controversy around that stuff, but I'll let you know about that. But it's something like they're taking this Uber approach to letting call center agents schedule how they work. And like how you call an Uber and they figure out who's the best one to come to get you, and then they come to get you, all that kind of stuff. Well, they're doing this. They have this technology that's going to allow companies to allow their agents to I think they call it like coins, flex coins or something, so that they can, based on when they work, they can accumulate these flex coins. And so when they want to kind of work certain times and not work other times, if they have enough coins, they can use coins that they've earned to lock in a time to work based on the availability and how much coinage they've accumulated. So it's you're going to hear a lot about this, because I found that fascinating, how you're taking something that has been I think you could say it's been a very successful thing for Uber, and all these kind of business models that have gone from a consumer standpoint. They're kind of bringing it to the enterprise and the call center, and letting contact center agents accumulate coins based on when they work, so that they can find ways to only work when they work and not and avoid things that they don't want to, or times that they don't want to work. If they have enough coins, they can kind of do that. Probably not explaining it the best, but you're going to hear a lot about that. And I thought that was really cool.
That's
Oh, there
unusual.
it is. Yeah, Rebecca is calling it demand-based pricing, but it's based on accumulating coins when they work, so that they can call the shots when they work. And I think it's really a cool concept, and I was so glad that
So,
they talked about that, because I think that really left a lasting impression in the
so does
analysts that
that
were.
mean that rather than just adopt a technology, you're adopting a whole model?
Yeah, well, I think you're gonna have to adopt the whole model and have it implemented in that technology, right? I mean,
Yeah, but that's unusual that they're actually, it's not model, what's the word? It's not model agnostic. It's specific to something they're attempting to, I guess, bring to from a strategic standpoint, which is very different.
yeah, they get to pick their shifts based on the algorithm for forecasting. Yeah, exactly. So, and the time, there's the private, actually the work time, and they accumulate coins. But then the times that they want to work, depending on what time of day it is, and how much like the demand is for people needing help, that costs more coins. So it's really an interesting thing that they're. I don't think I've ever heard any enterprise looking to bring that kind of thing inward to their employees. And I think it's really an interesting concept. We'll see if it works. But I think it's really interesting. So,
Remember their approach to bots is different too. So I mean, they're actually a pretty creative company, although they get unduly beat up by a lot of people.
yeah. By the way, our non-guest is saying he would love to contribute. Uh, we'll get you in there.
Hang in there, man. You're coming. We got you.
All right, but that was, and one last thing. So, of course, I brought I think what could potentially be one of our new mobile solutions, to put it through its paces while having a few good minutes conversation with some of the folks out there. So here's just a little clip of Chief Product Officer Jamie Merritt,
Good
uh,
guy. He's
talking
great.
about some of the early users of their bots, because these bots are a way that they kind of leverage and distribute their AI capabilities and all that stuff through all these bots. So I asked him about what's going on and what is the early feedback from. They have 100 companies out there using these bots. So how's it going? What was he hearing? And this is what he said. 4 million agents, right?
Yep.
That are using your software. And I think it's about 100 or so companies have already started kicking the tires around.
Oh, sure. Yeah, about 100 bots already
Okay.
in production and customers.
What are they gravitating towards using these first bots for?
Sure, sure. So a lot of focus on our containment bot, which is really the front door into customer engagement. When you call, when you engage over a digital or a social channel, you always start with the containment bot that's really engaging in a self-service manner with customers. Tremendous ROI and dollar savings you can get if you can contain that in that self-service channel. But when you transfer to an agent, you want to make sure that containment bot provides everything you need for a seamless transfer, for easy for the agent to pick up the phone or to jump back into the digital conversation and be able to get started and run fast. So
Right.
so we have a lot of bots that support self-service and that containment and then into that seamless transition. We have other customers that may have started from our workforce background and they would start with quality and they want to automate the quality process and save their supervisors 50%, 75% of the time they spend scoring and use the supervisors to do better coaching and engagement with agents. And then I guess the other one I would highlight is wrap up. Everyone loves wrap up.
Everyone loves wrap up.
Okay, well, that's it for the show.
No, that's good. So, and they also, there's some a little bit of controversy. Remember how they were the first batch of bots? They all had like names.
Yeah.
So that was 12 bots. Now they're up to 35 bots by the end of the year. They're going to be at 50 bots and I think by next year they want to double that. But guess what went away?
The names.
The names of the bots.
Why?
The name. Well, I asked Jamie about that during our talk, and if you really want to know,
I do.
watch A Few Good Men. It's a logical explanation. Let's put it like that. It's
I
very
hope
logical.
so. I don't find the word containment bot actually fitting what he was describing. That's more like operator bot, right?
No,
I mean, that's like zero on a phone. What he's
well,
describing on
con-
containment.
well,
First,
they containment to them, of course, is somebody calls in. They don't really want it to get to an actual agent. They hope it'll get solved before they have to bring in a costly agent.
Yeah.
So that's why they call it containment bot. Anyway,
terrible name, but it's okay.
I know something that you will like. You love when companies talk about SLMs, right?
Yes, I do.
So this was a screenshot I took from yesterday's Ignite keynote, and look what he says there. Microsoft loves not only open source but SLMs.
Huh.
Do you want that T-shirt? And he went into pretty decent detail about how they're working with SLMs. So I thought you'd be really happy with that.
Well, look, from my standpoint, the value of all of this, all of Gen AI and so on, is the uses it has. And the thing that always impresses me is when I see companies like, I guess, Microsoft now, and certainly ServiceNow, attacking it by creating the algorithms for specific use cases or verticals or things that get a result that somebody's trying to get. And as opposed to the coolness of it and the big, generic, chat GPT or Bing chat or whatever now, which is Bing, and by the way, Microsoft has replaced all Bing chat, everything with Copilot as of yesterday too. Everything is called Copilot, and look, Microsoft, to their being intelligent, actually embedded it in Windows, and so to the point where in the second half update of this year, the one that came out a few weeks ago, when you're done with that update and you're in a Windows device, you can literally just click on it's basically an icon, and it opens up their Gen AI, and it opens up Copilot, and you can do whatever you do with Copilot. It's very easy to access and use. I started using it pretty regularly on one of the machines that I have that have Windows. So look, they're being smart. They changed what they said. I don't know, what was it, a year and a half ago? I think pre-Gen AI, we're an AI company. And they're, even though they're not really an AI company per se, they are shifting to do the things you need to do to make AI optimally useful. And are they there yet? Optimally.
A lot of the AI companies are using Azure, so technically, you gotta say that. And there, you can see it coming into a lot of their different applications and stuff. So, hey, and they also mentioned in this around the integrating with the new Chat GPT for video prompts, which is really, now that's going to be cool to see that kind of stuff take place. But you know what? He says he loves SLMs, but you know what else I think he loves? NVIDIA. I mean, the NVIDIA was like, I almost thought I was coming to an NVIDIA keynote. They mentioned them so much. And we've said this like throughout the whole year. This has been happening, but it culminated in, well, you see Jensen is up there with Satya, but he mentioned them in the first 30 minutes. I'm telling you, 3 different occasions where they mention it. And let's see, do I have another one of them here? They built, and they said they built the biggest AI supercomputer. Within months, it became the biggest, and you're seeing it's number 3 in the world in terms of overall supercomputers. But they say it's the biggest AI supercomputer. It was a collaboration between Microsoft and NVIDIA, because NVIDIA, creates all the GPUs that everybody's using for this right now. So we said within a couple of months of teaming up, they had built the biggest AI supercomputer and the 3rd biggest supercomputer in the world has ever known.
And apparently they also have the 9th and the 10th NVIDIA does.
Well, yeah, but this was it was still a Microsoft keynote, so
Right.
you see which one they highlighted
Yeah.
there. The third, but I mean, it's a pretty interesting story. So you know what? You've always said that the Adobe partnership with Microsoft was get a room. I don't know. I think they might have been bumped out, man.
We'll see. I mean, it depends on with the internals that we don't know about, but at the same time, it's becoming. I mean, look, NVIDIA and Jensen are being insanely smart.
That's true, Michael. There was a lot of acronyms. I mean, they were talking. See, these are why you see why these guys are the CEOs of the companies they are. Satya was going. He was almost pulling like a Larry Ellison because he was breaking out physical chips that they're designing and manufacturing at like a multitude of levels. It was really impressive. He's gone Larry Ellison.
Well, Larry Ellison has gone Satya Nadella.
You know what? You are so right. Not a word. I didn't hear a peep about that. So you know what? I think you're going to have to officially rename the Get a Room partnership for Microsoft and NVIDIA.
I may. I need some more info, but I'm on the path. Adobe has to prove to me why it's changed, why it's not changed, or I'm inclined to do it.
Okay, so before we unleash our non-guest, we have to unleash one other thing.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
It's time for Stump the Godfather with the venerable Paul Greenberg, brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365.
Maybe I can go back into AFib before this is over.
Hey, last week we couldn't get Benny to work, so I'm just appreciating Benny being back with us. Hello.
Yeah, and why don't we just leave it at that?
No, we can't leave it at that because look, after all of that Ignite, co-pilot stuff, guess what? We're going to have a Stump the Godfather brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365 co-pilot. We're going to have a co-pilot question. So,
for God's sake, man, this is a co-pilot ad.
Hey,
they
are the sponsor, and they did have a big keynote. So we're going to do it. How many minutes on average are saved by Microsoft sales folks that use Sales Copilot weekly?
So I'm presuming minutes a week is what we really mean here.
Minutes a week being saved by them using Sales Copilot. And this is a survey of Microsoft sales folks. So this is what, I don't know, they got like 15, 20,000 salespeople, something like that. I don't know.
Well, they're talking about per person here, right?
Per person. Yeah. Per person. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, let's see what other people answer, and then I will.
Okay. So once again, it's in minutes. That's I don't know if that's a clue or not, but it's in minutes per salesperson that uses Sales Copilot. Put your guesses in. Rebecca, Patrick, Michael. Well, Sven, if you want to, Sven. I don't know if that's against company rules or anything like that, but
and also
our guest, our unguest in the back room, put your guess in the private chat, and we'll let people know. Oh, this is cold, Sven. 1 minute saved. Wait a minute. What are you putting up there? I can't see that. Is that 138? Dude, just type it in the chat so I can see it. Your writing is worse than mine. Rebecca. Oh, okay. Rebecca.
See, I'm on Rebecca's page exactly.
Rebecca.
That's exactly what I think. 90 minutes.
I might have some questions after this. All right. So Rebecca's got 90. Sven has got 1. Our unguest has 138.
I'm with Rebecca 100%. Literally the same answer. That was my answer.
He also says he is a curmudgeon full time. By the way,
well, we knew that.
He's on the record.
New.
All right, so we got.
I'm 90. I'm going to go.
Oh, so you're right on there.
Absolutely. That's the number I was going to do. So Rebecca just also did it. But
Michael Klein. Well, Michael needs to stay out of this because he actually watched the keynote. I'm sure. So okay,
90.
So 190, 90, 138. I'm locking in the end. Oh, Michael says 240. Wow, that's like 6 hours saved a week.
No, 4 hours. 4 hours.
Oh yeah, 4 hours saved a week. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh yeah. Okay, now we got Wolf. Is that for you or for Patrick? Okay, so he said like 10% of the week. Oh, okay, all right. I think we can lock in unless anybody has any last 5 seconds. Going once. Let's say no save compared to what they did before they started using it, Sven. That's all. Not. This is not anything going against a competitor. Just okay. No, or an offline note. It could be if that's the way they worked before they had Sales Copilot. Sven always trying to throw wrenches in here. All right.
He's throwing pencils in there.
Yeah. Okay. So we've ranged from 1 to 240. The answer is here we go.
90. Woohoo. Rebecca
90 minutes. See, I saw that. I was like, oh, and then if you notice here, it just says saved on average, but it doesn't tell you when, like what time frame. But they did see that little link at the bottom. I had to go to that link to actually get the answer, and that came here. 90 minutes total time saved per work week.
Makes them
that ain't bad. I mean, that's something, right? I mean,
no,
pretty good. And then there's a lot of data they threw out there. So amongst the keynote, they had some data that they threw out there, and that was one of them. 90 minutes total save. Well, yeah, that's what it is. Friends, depends on their level before. It's exactly right.
That's why it says on the average.
Yeah, on average, exactly. Yeah. So you got that one. You got that 100%. You and I think it was more Rebecca. Patrick. No, I think Patrick said 90. I think Rebecca said Wolf. I'm going with you and Patrick getting it right this week. Wow,
90 is the number that popped straight into my head when I saw it.
Why was that?
I don't know. It just did.
Well,
you have to realize these are completely wild guesses. I have no clue.
Hey, but you got it right. So take the win. Take the dub.
I am. I haven't been on my game too well lately. So on these Stump the Godfathers, STPs.
Right. Well, so congratulations, you got it right. And I'm congratulating Patrick for getting it right. I think Rebecca might have cheated. I think she might have saw the keynote. I'm more concerned about Michael Klein, though, because he said he saw the keynote and he was the furthest off.
He may have been trying to deceive all of us.
Oh, he was. Oh, is that what he's doing? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so once again, that was Stump the Godfather, brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot. Copilot is just the theme of the day,
aka Wingman.
Yeah, I still do like Wingman. Okay, now before I turn it over to you I don't even know if you need an introduction.
No, we don't. For Esteban, why? He's a member of the tribe, the family.
You know what, though?
The crew, the gang.
You know, I got a new way of doing this because he is the host of the very popular, award-winning. I don't know what award it is, but he
won the
we'll make it up.
The Playaz.
We can make something up.
Show of the week.
Host of the weekly hit show, Whispered Insights. And for a sneak peek before we bring him on, how about we get a sneak peek of what that show's all about?
Of a vendor lock-in when it's proposed is really that this is a duration over time pathway to get to success. What it ends up being are shackles, where you are stuck and you are trapped in that vendor, oftentimes feeling like you're drowning and feeling like you are not only stuck with the vendor that may not be delivering success, but you're also stuck with increasingly growing terms where, we're going to assume because we're so awesome, you're going to have to increase seat count, right? Because you're going to be so wildly successful.
I like using that clip because that was from the latest show. And that was a clip from a show that actually was supposed to happen a couple of weeks ago, but due to technical difficulties, it couldn't. So they were talking about vendor lock-in, And I like that clip because
I know exactly why you liked it.
Esteban couldn't get a word in.
That's exactly what I knew you were going to say. I knew it. I knew it.
He was trying, but Liz was. I thought, what better way to bring on the host of the wildly successful award-winning Whispered Insights?
Whispered insights.
Whispered. But before we bring him on, there's one more thing we have to do.
Oh, wow. Teasing.
I think you know what it is.
Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Now we can bring him on, the award-winning host of Whispered Insights, the one and only Esteban Kolsky. How you like that?
Wow, look at that. That's so nice.
Let's go. Let's fucking use the disclaimer for all it's worth. You know,
That looks nice, that little thing you made up.
it's actually, I have a couple I buy the stickers of Etsy. There's another one that says, like, you know, no one cares. This one is like, I'm actually not funny. I'm just really mean, and people think I'm joking. You know?
I like those.
And my favorite of those is this one. It says, I will put you in a trunk and then help people look for you.
Oh my! No,
Wow.
you didn't put the first part. You didn't read the first part of that, but that's okay.
No, well, I tried to bitch, please.
Okay, there.
It's better when you read it, but I was just trying to be like more family oriented, you know.
That's right. That works really well with you. So, where did you
It's
get
so good
those?
to be a guest in a show again. I can speak now instead of letting other people
Finally
talk.
can say something.
God, it's so fucking frustrating to be the
Wait,
host.
I was going to ask you how much restraint did it take for you not to
More than I have, trust me. And by the way, that clip that he showed was at the beginning of the show. If you listen to that show at the end, it's a full-on like fisticuff of words with Liz. That is the way it's supposed to be. I mean, we're just going back and forth, not letting each other talk. So
Well, that's
it
what
showed more restraint than I knew that I had.
see, we just give a little tease because we want people to watch the whole show. So that's what we
It's a
Yeah,
good
it
show.
will be.
It's a
It's
good
going to
show. I
be
have-
actually up today.
Yeah, I have some amazing shows coming up. So I mean, I hope people connect. And I mean, next week, since we're doing the shameless plug part before we get into something real, next week on Tuesday the 21st, I have Rafaela Camera, who used to be the head of transmedia relationships for Epic Games. Then we take a little break. Then Heather Williams, who's with two inline studios, they do the graphic depictions of
Yeah,
conversations.
awesome.
They use that at the Constellation all the time. She's going to be on my show on the 5th. On the 12th is Craig Rosenberg talking about e-commerce. On the 19th, we have the best show, the final show of the year. All my co-hosts, Alan Bergson, Liz Miller, Lauren Vargas, and John Reed will be together. And we're going to discuss our top insights for 2023 from the shows. So, and then into next year, it gets even better. So
wait a minute. Are you sure there's going to be enough microphones for you guys?
we're going to be fine, dude. I don't know if there's going to be enough time, but there's definitely going to be enough
We need
microphones.
43 mics, right?
Yeah.
4 of them.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
so
yeah, the show is going really well. You know.
yeah, okay. So you were really itching to talk about something when you're in the green room. What did you want to talk
Oh,
about?
when you were talking about the thing with
Barron.
Oh, the
Barron,
Uberization thing?
Allowing agents to bid for the shift they want to play, they want to work and don't work, which sounds fantastic in theory, but if you ever work in a contact center, call center, you know that you have like 3 people who know what they're doing, and 97 that don't. So you cannot allow the 3 people to say, I don't know work this shift, because you have basically an entire shift comprised of people that don't know what they're doing. And this is not in relation to anybody. It's a law of numbers. I mean, that's the way it works. So if the people that are good get to choose when they work and what they do, you're going to end up with not sufficient coverage for the things that actually you need to. And the biggest problem behind that, as a final part, is if your bots are successful and they handle the 60% of flim-flam that nobody wants to deal with, you need the good people working. And if you allow your good people to not work because they can beat off the hours when you need them, then now you have an even worse level of experience that you provide for your customers.
So Rebecca made the point, though, which kind of struck me odd, just given what we just heard. They get to pick their shifts based on the algorithm. But so wait, these coins just what? Give them a choice? Is that it?
The coins
So-
give them the currency to
to
be
buy the
able-
shift that they want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they work and earn coins, and if you work and earn enough coins, you can buy the shift you I guess you
Yeah.
want to buy. But there are other pieces of the puzzle. It's not just that. There are
Right,
other
right.
rules that go into.
Yeah,
Do you
like
have the right? Do
can't-
you have the right skill set or something to go for that particular thing?
I know Jamie for 20 some years, and I worked with him for 20 some years. I'm sure that he already thought about this because he's one of the smart people there, and but basically, the problem that I'm sure they foresaw with this is there's going to be some shift in some areas that are not included in the gaming solution, right?
But I'm sure they're going to know what shifts to leave open to the broader set of people versus the shifts that are only a certain amount of people can take.
That's where AI comes in, right? And that's going to be a common theme in this show. I'm gonna air quote AI every time we use it.
It's all right.
This is where predictive analytics, machine learning, and AI will come in and fill in the rest. So,
as far as I'm concerned, the less I hear about it, the better at this point. Only because I'm oversaturated, super saturated with AI.
well, I mean, so this thing talks to like the idea of employee experience being more interesting than customer experience, or equal interesting to customer experience for companies, which I don't buy into that whole charlatanism. But I mean, if you need to make your employee experience equal to customer experience, this is a way to enhance the employee experience. It's just give them the impression of free will.
Right. Look,
religion.
You're right. It's the same thing. Look, I preached it without AI for years, which is you give if you're a business and you have 100 items that you have, but you can only offer 7 per customer, you give them the choice of 7, say pick 4, and they're going to be happy because they'll be those 7 will be where the AI comes in and says, these are probably most appropriate. And then they'll pick 4 and they'll say, I got a choice. I got to pick. In the meantime, you haven't given them access to 93, right? And so on the one hand, the business can control its own, costs and its own efforts. And on the other hand, the customer has, if not, it is actual choice to a degree, but there's also an illusion of choice that's associated with it. But the customer's happy because they got to choose, right? And ultimately, we're dealing with the emotions of the customer anyway. So I'm not saying, be cynical about it. It's just a matter of knowing how to control these things so that nobody goes hog wild over it. And the AI, one benefit you can see is AI can help that. I can support at least better choices, because ultimately, employee or customer, you're still a human being either way, and and there's going to be an emotional response to something, whatever it is.
I like how you tell me not to be cynical about something. I appreciate it.
I wasn't telling you that. I like how you picked up and made you think I was telling you, because I was.
There's two worlds.
Telling me not to be cynical.
That's the way you roll.
There's two worlds. There's my world and the world where the rest of you all live. So.
So good to have you back on the show.
Thank you. It feels so good to be able to say whatever the fuck I want, dude. It's so good. We should do this once a week just for release. I know.
I've never seen so many mic drops on Whispered Insights that had nothing to do with you talking, and you're the one making the mic drop.
All right, wait a minute.
You know what? But that's what I'm going for. So that's good.
Yeah, because Lauren Vargas had pretty much the same.
Oh, that was hilarious! Bam, that was straight out.
That just means he's surrounding himself with really good people to do a lot of the talking. Which is
the show we did with Doug Searles was out of bounds. It was absolutely fantastic.
That was great.
The guy is truly a treasure to talk to, and we'll have him back. The show we did with Jeff Gomez talking about narratives with was exceptional.
That was awesome.
I mean, all the shows are exceptional. So John Reed is a person of its own making. That also we have some incredible conversations about information distribution. These are all like big thinking topics, and we have great conversations. That's what I'm going for. I cannot do a show where I'm promoting some bullshit about like, the latest jargon or whatever, marketing term or whatever. I don't give a shit about that. Nobody does.
Hey, did you know? Well, no. I was gonna say
Well, wait, go.
So this is what happened. So it's like I want to say something, but I don't want to set enough for another one of those runs. So I'm not going to say anything now.
I'm just gonna hold that one in my pocket for right now. But no, so what else is interesting you right this minute? The shackles are off. You've had some time to kind of
You asked me
recuperate.
what I'm spending my time in. I'm spending my time in two things. One, I'm actually investing a lot of time reading up and trying to come up with a new idea of what the socioeconomic global trends are, because that's what's going to impact everything, not just our clients and our solutions, but everything we do. And if you study any economics or politics or anything in your life, you know that we're in a different game now. It's the rules are completely different. The indicators are different. The data is different. We have so much processing power we didn't have before. We had so many people that are so fucking like negative and so many people that are so incredibly positive at the same time that we didn't have before. The internet changed the way we do things over the last 15 years. I mean, the iPhone came out in 2007, right? So we're talking about like 16 years ago, we didn't have a way to spread information. Now in 15 years, we went from like people reading, watching the 6 o'clock news to people actually living the 6 o'clock news every second of their lives. So that's changing the way everything's going to go. So I'm spending quite a bit of time trying to wrap my head around and about how that works. On the technology world, I had some fantastic conversations through this year many times with Dr. Michael Wu, and we talked about the up and coming stuff like quantum computing and physics changing the way we do things. And I'm trying to figure out, how we incorporate that into the world of enterprises. I mean, my goal still remains provide as much synthesized information that I can to decision makers so I can make better decisions. That's what I do. So, but I think that those two are the biggest things that we need to worry about. AI is baked in for the next decade. There's nothing we can do about it. Whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to define it at, enterprises and vendors are going to suffer or be a part of that or whatever you want to call it for the next 10 years plus. This is like the equivalent of cloud in 2000 when Salesforce first came with the no software. We are at the same level, right? So we have 10, 20 years, probably 10 because the technology is faster now. So we have 10 years of trying to figure out what to do with that. That's baked in. There's no other technology out there that is like similar to that. So what comes next is quantum computing. What comes next is a different world that we had, 15 years ago. 15 years, I know that I'm talking too much, but 15 years in my world is a generation. Generations went from 30 years to 15 years based on the advances in technology. So 15 years is a generation. We have the first full baked on digital generation since the coming of the iPhone. So where are we and where are we going? That's what I'm trying to spend time trying to figure out.
So dig deeper on quantum computing a little bit.
I can and cannot, both at the same time.
Perfect.
Sorry, rim shot there or something, Quantum computing is going to change. So if you think about what AI means for us today, right? It's better analytics, better decision making, faster access to decisions and things like that. The problem is like decisions continue to be linear, meaning like you go down this path, you go down this path. At best you can do some prescriptive analytics and go down both paths and provide certain level of rigor and certain level of like validity to both and pick one over the other. But quantum computing is basically, it's non-linear. You don't have to go down one path or the other. You can make both decisions, implement both decisions, both at the same time in equal parameters, in equal ways, and then come up with a much better answer. I mean, the problem with that is like the amount of computing power that is required. It's massive. I mean, we're not even talking supercomputers like you were developing before. We're talking about, things that like live in like massive buildings that generate enough heat to power a sun for the most part. That it's truly science fiction at this point. But if you talk to Dr. Wu, he'll tell you that there are some implementations that we're seeing that are giving us some incredible hope in what we can do in the future, right? And if you really look at the problems we have left in the world, and this may be too big of a statement, but in my opinion, we solved all the major problems in the world. We have intractable problems that span generations and require complex solutions. And to solve those problems, we cannot do linear thinking. And that's my interest in quantum computing. It's not, how do you create a million markets of one, but how do you serve every single consumer in the universe, with what they need, when they need it, how they need it, automatically and the cheapest way possible. That's something that quantum computing can solve, but we cannot solve in a linear thinking model. So I think there's a lot of prospects and possibilities there.
Okay, but when you say you think we're solved all the big problems that we were faced with, are you talking about in one particular area? Because I can't see that at all.
That we haven't implemented. That we have the solution doesn't mean we implemented the solution. We know what to do. We just need to implement the solution. So that's when it shifts from like something that we don't know. We didn't know how to treat infections until we got penicillin. So then we knew what to do, and it still took 150 years to go from penicillin to synthetic antibiotics, so you can actually treat the persistent ones. And we're still going through it. There's a difference between having the solution and implementing the solution.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say what I think. When do we feel all these finished? We've got the solution, but when do we feel like we've actually solved it?
It's never solved. I mean, if you're really good for solutions, Jimmy Carter, his foundation was able to eradicate. No, seriously. It was able to eradicate, after 30 plus years working, was able to eradicate 2 diseases from the world. That's a solution. But we have none of those. Pick anywhere in the world, pick any problem that you want: housing, equality, education, food, anything that you want. It's not solved. We know what we need to do. We know what we need to do.
Yeah, but I guess, all right, maybe some people know it. Others people might not know it. Others people might know it and want to fight against it because they don't see where they benefit from.
Okay.
So I don't see. I just do. All right. So how optimistic are you about having the solution and getting to actually see it in action?
Depending on the things, between 1 and 25%.
That's not very. That doesn't sound very.
The problem. So here's an example. I mean, in 2016 in Argentina, there was a new government that was voted in. It was a government like it was never before. It was not partisan. It was not populist. It was not like everybody loves it. This guy came and said, "We're going to change the way we do everything in Argentina," right? Which was a good promise. I mean, if you lived in Argentina like I did, that was like the only hope. That was like the Obama of Argentina, essentially. Except that because it's Argentina, he was white. But that's a different story. But the guy gave us hope for the future. We're going to change the way we do things in Argentina, right? So then he put people in charge of the ministries that were like, true change makers, but require long term. He said, my government won't see any of this shit come to fruition. We're just going to lay down the first brick, and the next 6 governments will lay the next 6 bricks. And then after that, we can actually think of something. He proposed an education change that took 35 years to implement and 50 years to get results. Right? That was an intractable problem. The problem exists. Education sucks, but you're not going to change it next year. I mean, forgiving the student loans is great, but it doesn't change education in this country and the unequal access to education and knowledge.
But what, Paul? I don't mean to.
That's okay.
No, that's okay.
But all these great technologies that potentially could improve things, and if you use it to their fullest, they should be able to improve things at a scale and a speed that we've never seen before. But that also allows the opposite or the unintended consequences that could completely shut that thing down happen just as quickly and as big and as wide. And I think that's why all these good things that can happen don't really ever seem to happen, because these unintended consequences, or the small group of people that really have a say in how this stuff works, doesn't want it to work. And I don't know which is which, but it does always.
Let's use Twitter as an example of unintended consequences, right? I mean, whether or not you agree with what Elon Musk was trying to do, the unintended consequences, he pretty much sunk the first democratized access to information that we had in the internet since 2007 to today. I mean, Facebook could be questioned in different ways. It's wider, more popular, and everything. But when you get to a level of knowledge distribution, Twitter was the place. And now there was a survey distributed this morning where 43% of people say they get their news from TikTok.
Yep.
Fucking TikTok, dude.
Wow.
TikTok.
That's scary.
Do you know how bad the world is that we have to get the information distribution through TikTok? I can bring you 6 million videos that I watch every day on fucking TikTok that are horrible. They're
did you learn something? Did you learn something while you were?
I learned to be scared of the world around me. Yes, that's what I learned.
Learned how to do the shuffle, right?
Yeah.
So the other problem is just belief systems. Period. Right?
Yeah.
So you can have let's look at quantum computing, for example. Quantum computing has been both theoretical and actual, meaning there are quantum computers that are doing work for actually a while now. It's not like they're brand new. They're a decade, maybe about a decade. The largest quantum computer ever was IBM developed it in 2022, and then that was exceeded this year, and it's 1,000. And this goes to where I'm going though, and the size of it is 1,000. The Atom company that built it is 1,000 qubits, and qubits is spelled Qubits.
Yep.
CU. Now here's the deal. I doubt there are 20 people on this planet. Well, maybe there are more than that, but not much. A few hundred, 1,000 on this planet who know what a qubit even is, right? And what that means, and how that is astounding amount of power, and why it's astounding amount of power. Because it's not a 0-1 bit. It's not the same thing. It's very different. Thing.
Actually, a qubit has four. Very basic. A qubit has 4 consecutive states, right? 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1.
Right.
Basically, it can be 0 and 1. So you're basically quadrupling the capacity. At the very basic, a qubit can quadruple the capacity.
But to your point, it's a non-linear.
Yeah.
So it's not like 1,000 qubits equals 4,000. No.
1,000 qubits equals 1 trillion bits, basically. It's like
yeah. So
four,
that's
four magnitudes. Yeah.
But here's the other side of it is, and there's a lot of processing power there. I know IBM. I read this last week. I think IBM made a commitment sometime this year that they were going to build 100,000 qubit machine, which is astounding. However, to the bigger point, not very many people even understand anything about it. Now, there also is the thing that leads to quantum computing was also a school of people who are quantum thinkers, and that's it. Yep. And it's not the same thing as a quantum computer, right? It's the same broad concept, but you're dealing with how do I put it? To this point, a small group of people that are absolutely committed to it. In our universe, there's more people who know about it than most everywhere else on the planet. Mm-hmm. You read a lot about it. It's sort of mythologically out there, but when it boils down to it, ultimately for something to succeed, you need at least a reasonable portion of a population to accept it. Right. And otherwise, it's just not going to succeed. I don't care how good. It's like what we always say just about an individual company. You can have the best technology in the world, but if you don't have a very good company, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Right. So,
look, every technology has the same problems. The jump from bleeding edge to like early adopters is huge. The jump from early adopters to mainstream is massive. Right. And if you look at quantum computing, 30 years ago, this was an idea. 15 years ago, it was a development. 5 years ago, it was 2 developments. And now we have, every year, we're developing a bigger, more massive computer that provides affordable, quote unquote, affordable, like AI, right? Affordable ability to process. So the reason I'm interested is because 10 years from now, when we're done with this AI shit, then that's going to be the time when quantum computing is going to start entering the mainstream media. The mainstream,
I hope, because I'm with you. I think it's what represents major breakthroughs potentially for world issues that are huge. And I'm a huge, I call myself a fan, I guess, because I don't know a ton about it. But I always worry about popular acceptance, especially given the state of
I think you hit it. What are we about the year mark from when OpenAI basically changed the world for better?
It was yesterday, actually. Yeah.
So And why was that? I think it goes back to Paul's point. It was something that opened up this technology to regular folks. And I've been hearing about quantum, engineering and all that kind of stuff for years. And you just don't, unless there's something that makes it easy for, once again, the masses to understand. That's the way it'll be unlocked, or it'll just be amongst all the, only the smart people, but the smart people need the regular people to get rich. And if you don't find a way to make that, cross the Rubicon, so to speak, how does it get unlocked? How does it make it?
You mean crossing the chasm? If you're going to go popular enterprise technology,
I like Rubicon. I'm a history.
I like the Rubicon better too, but there's a book that's what crossing the chasm is in space.
Jeff Moore is cool. I like Jeff Moore, but I'm going with Caesar.
I'm with you on this one. I think that Jeffrey Moore wrote a nice book for the time, but it's dated now. And the reason it's dated is because technology adoption, it's grown so quickly since then. The other Jeffrey Moore's law, like every 18 months we double computing power. Imagine where we are today and where we could be in 6 years if every 18 months we can double the computing power we have today. It took a year to go from.
When did he originally say that? That was what, in the 60s or something?
1980s, 1990s.
Oh, it was 8?
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely changed. What are we down to, like 3 or 4 months?
Trying to find, how come there's no Wikipedia on this? Here we go. Moore's law. It's observation number transistor, whatever.
Like
when did he
18
do
months
it first? 1959. No, that's not it. 1974. No. 1975. Whatever. Moore's second law. This is hard to find.
Oh, whatever.
Anyways.
Yeah, 80s. Yeah. We'll just say 80s.
Yeah.
But that doesn't apply today now, does it? I mean.
No, it continues to apply forever because the evolution of power doesn't end. I mean, he didn't say we will have better transistors, more transistors in chips. He said the evolution of power will double every 18 months to 2 years. The power available.
It's actually doing that faster now, though.
I mean, the reason we have AI today is because we put all the processing power on the cloud that we didn't have it before. I did this shit 37 years ago. I was doing compilers and symbolism when I was in high school, in mainframes. And it was nowhere near the level of power that we have today. I mean, my large language model was like, 3 sentences because that's all the machine could handle at the time.
Well, think about what Apple announced just, a couple of weeks ago with their latest. Well, they create their own, chip. Now they have the M3. And, Paul and I were checking out the unveiling of that, and the specs on that, particularly the MacBook Pro M3 Max chip. What are we talking, like a trillion transistors or something like that? I mean,
trillion was the number.
These numbers are just ridiculous. No, I mean,
I want to keep in mind that transistors are no longer transistors, right? Transistors now are logical gates.
They had just come out with their M2 chip like 4 months ago. And then they're coming out with the M3 chip, and it's like blowing that thing away. It's just unbelievable.
Oh, look at the difference from ChatGPT 3.0 to 3.5 to 4.0 to 4.5 in a matter of 5 years, right? Yeah. We went from being able to process a couple sentences to basically being able to aggregate information on a minute by minute basis if you want to, if you pay enough. We have the power to do that. We have the ability to do that. So this is just about technology evolution. We have the power. We have the storage capacity. We have the ability to put it anywhere. I mean, if you want to talk about trends that will affect the enterprise over the next 5-10 years, edge computing, the ability to create our phones make our phones be a complete node of power within a corporate network, not just for email and Teams or whatever, but to actually store data and create elements that we don't have today. I mean.
Last question I'll ask, because I think we're getting close to. Oh, shit.
Yeah, we are.
We are. Sorry.
Are humans are not ready for the speed that this stuff is going at. It just all the tech is great and it's going, but regular people are not ready for this kind of stuff to get that kind of power in their hands.
Yeah,
I don't think.
So what? It took 25.
Be ready for a whole bunch of tragedy to come around. That's what
the concept of cloud computing or the theory behind cloud computing was created in 1939. The first implementation of grid computing power that was predecessor to the cloud was in 1956. We didn't have until 1995, 96, we didn't have any hosted solutions equivalent to cloud computing. So, I mean, we're talking about like, roughly 80 to 100 years since cloud computing started, right? Even if you decrease the magnitude of that, we're still talking about 50 plus years before this shit becomes, mainstream at a level that normal people had to deal with. So,
you know what? It feels like that's just because it's not just the power, but it's actually more affordable to more people in a shorter amount of time. And it seems like the more affordable it gets into everybody's hands. People who know what to do with it. Some people are like, everybody's got it, I need it, and then they don't know what to do with it. And there is some people, of course, people that know exactly what they want to do and then take down everything.
But that's the thing. It goes from there's only two reasons people typically buy in on anything. One is they see the value of it to themselves, or two, they don't have a choice, right? Yeah. And that's it. Those are the only reasons that people will say, okay, look, I mean, here's a horrible example. I mean, let's say people using swords as the army's weapon didn't buy into guns until they were shot. Right. And then they bought into guns, right? Because they had to shoot back.
Is that what they put on their epitaph?
Right. Basically, I didn't buy into guns.
This is the last thing. When I mention edge computing, people think about it differently, but edge computer is the true essence of distributed computing power. And if I can move the computing power to your phone, and if your phone becomes a micro qubit processor for quantum computing in 15 years, we're there.
Look, there's so simple stuff. I mean, think of it this way. I wasn't going to buy an iPhone 15 Pro Max. I wasn't. And then this phone ran out of space literally today. So I bought one. Right. And I literally couldn't, because I have so many videos on this phone, and realized all I was going to do is more videos. So I said, all right, I need bigger storage. There's no point in buying an old phone with bigger storage. So I bought a new one and turned this in. Right. I mean, it was simple as that. I just ran out of space. I had no intention of buying it until I had no reason not to.
Well, look at all the commercials you see for these phones. If it's not the iPhone, it's the Google, where everybody's taking pictures and on the fly, like taking people out of the picture or switching people's heads off. I mean, this stuff it's great. It's in the theory. And even in usage, but some people are already, look, there's going to be some tragic stuff going on.
As much as I'm glad I got a new phone with more space, the reality is if I didn't run out of space, I wouldn't have turned this phone in. I could do more than enough on this, right? So,
and if you actually store all your shit on the cloud and you have decent processing power, and
but then again, with Apple, I'm only paying a certain amount in the cloud, right? I'm not paying it, so it's just paid to just do that. And I'm probably going to be using a SSD drive to store it in the future, just so keep it off the phone. But I'm just saying, it's like I basically was put in a position where I had to do something, so I did something.
I know we have to go, but like imagine a credit card size 5 terabyte storage, literally credit card size 5 terabyte storage that you can stick to the back of your phone that becomes the instant storage for everything you do.
Dude,
you don't have anything
that isn't very far.
I've got an SSD that's a 4 terabyte now that is slim as
this big.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll miniaturize them enough that we put them inside the phone. You have 5 terabytes plus cloud access to everything in instantaneous. Then storage doesn't become an issue. Then you can do whatever the fuck you want. You know. So, anyways,
forever.
I know that I can talk forever, but I appreciate you guys letting me talk. I had a lot to say.
I know.
It was pinned up.
18 weeks pinned up.
How did I be the pessimist on this one? I was like the one that was trying to shout.
Oh, because I said you became the pessimist when I said we solved all the problems.
That's
like,
it.
Fuck, hell no, dude. I'm not going to let you get away with that one.
And you can hear more sparkling conversations like that on Tuesdays. Whispered Insights. With host Esteban High in the Sky Kolsky. Thank you.
Wow, that is literally the first time I've ever heard pie in the sky associated with Esteban.
Oh, look at that. Spoiler alert. Turns out I was right. And he didn't even have to say it to get it in there.
Wasn't a spoiler alert.
Yeah, it wasn't really a spoiler.
Spoiler alert. No.
Dude, this was fun. We were glad to have you back, buddy.
Thank you. Anytime.
Yeah, okay.
All right, you're asking for it.
So when's the next one? Are you off? You're taking off the next couple
No,
weeks,
I'm
right?
doing one more next
Okay.
Tuesday, the 21st, with Rafaela, talking about transmedia, which is going to be a huge topic next year, by the way, just so you know where we're going. And then I'm taking a week off, and then we do 2 or 3 shows in December, and then we're off for the end of the year break.
Okay.
All righty. Well, we will be looking forward to that, of course.
Yes.
And maybe you'll get a word in edgewise this week. We'll see.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay letting the smart people talk. I'm just sitting there asking questions. I'm good with that.
All right. Well, on behalf of Esteban Kolsky, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players, and I guess we're off next week because next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So yeah, we're not.
Yeah, we're off.
We're off to see the Wizard or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. And
anyway,
that's
we're off to
enough.
see. We're off to see Minnie right now. So you know what that means.
See
ya.
in a couple weeks.